Hello, everybody. We are excited to host the Professional Pathway Career Exploration event to help students connect their learning career opportunities. I am Miss Suarez and excited to welcome Savin with, oh wait, we don't have anybody else, so sorry, as our guest today. Before we get started, I wanted to remind everyone this is being recorded so future students can benefit from our speakers. We have the next 30 minutes to learn about this career field and the education that is needed to enter and grow within the industry and what advice our speaker has for our students. We will be monitoring any questions the students submit. So let's get started. So our students can learn about various professions and how they can prepare for their future, hopefully becoming a realtor. So Ali, tell us about your career field. Like how did you get started? Growth opportunities, like paying more.
So I started working in real estate. I started working at my agency when I was 16. I did work-based learning through marketing classes and CTE. So I got CTE credit for going to work. And I was a receptionist at VanDorm Realty in Olympia. And then when I was in college, I was trying to figure out all of these things that I wanted to do. And by taking those classes, I realized I didn't want to do them. So I was about junior year, it was the end of my junior year of college at UW, and I just decided I wanted to try to be a realtor. So I called a broker that worked at the office that I worked at, and I asked her what I needed to do to become one. So we went to lunch, and she told me, she said, in regards to starting a business, it's pretty affordable when you compared what it takes to start another small business. So you need a 90-hour online coursework that's approved through the state. A high school diploma or equivalent, a GED is sufficient. And you have to pass a state exam. And so you're responsible for paying for your coursework and for the state exam. And then you have to be fingerprinted because we are in people's homes.
Great.
And then you have to hang your license at a real estate company in order to practice real estate. So after I went to lunch with her, she called me the week later and she asked me if I wanted to be her assistant. So I worked for her during college, and then right before graduation, I took my exam, got my license, went on my own, and started building my own business of my book of clientele. And I've been doing that since 2013.
Nice. So how many growth opportunities have you had since then?
Well, what's really great about owning your own business and real estate specifically is that you can work as hard or as not hard as you want. So there are brokers who sell a couple houses a year. There are brokers who sell 100 houses a year. So it's completely flexible. Every person is an independent contractor who's a realtor. So you do have a boss that owns your agency, but you are your own boss. So I set my own hours. I create my own schedule with my clients that I have at the time. And so I really can work as hard or as little as I want. And it just depends on how much you network and how much you surround yourself with. And the more people you're in front of, the more opportunities you'll have. So.
Awesome. And I know that this question would probably always pop up, especially for young students. How much does it pay?
Uh, it kind of goes along with you can work as hard as you want or as not
Right.
hard as you want. So there are, I would say the top brokers in the county are making um, north of $300,000 a year. That's probably 2% of them. The majority of brokers, I think the average income for a realtor last year was like $43,000. So there's a wide variety. There are lots of brokers who are making less than the person who owns their agency, and very few that are making more. But there, like I said, there are people that only sell a few homes a year. So some people don't, some people can make $10,000 a year being a realtor,
Right.
but they might only work 60 hours that year or something like that. And there are people that work 60 hours a week and will still only make $50,000 a year. So it just depends on how many transactions you're doing and the volume of your transactions, because we get paid in the percentage of the sales price.
Mhm.
So
So yeah, so does that mean that I have to know a lot of math in order to be a realtor?
no, you can
No.
know no math if you want. There are computers for all of that.
Right.
Um, So when I'm representing a seller, I always create a worksheet that shows them how much money they'll walk away with when they sell their home. But again, that's all computerized. And it's not, I would say the biggest skill you can have is professionalism and listening skills. People want to be listened to and they need to trust you. I mean, they're trusting you with the biggest investment of their lives, not
Mhm.
only just their home, but their biggest investment of their lives. So also where their family lives. Um, so you need to listen really well and just be professional and present yourself in a professional manner. So
Oh, no, that's great. I think that's pretty much you need to really have that in a lot of other jobs. But
yes,
I do agree with you. It's like honestly the most important. Trust definitely, because I don't want anybody I don't trust in my home.
right, right.
For sure. So you said you worked for a broker, right?
hmm
Did he or she provide any like training or education reimbursements or anything like that?
So we do have continuing education that we're required to do by the state, and we are each individually are responsible for that fee. It's a business write-off, so it's part of a fee for operating my business. So like any other business, I deduct it from my income, and that gives me my taxable income. But they do provide uh, other coursework that's not necessarily required for state continuing education. I'm a little abnormal in that I came into my license already having worked for a high volume broker before. So I required less training, but one of the biggest things that differentiates company to company is the training that they provide to newer brokers. So some companies provide no training, and other companies have rigorous coursework and schedules and programs for new brokers or brokers that have come over from other agencies. So every company is different, but my company does provide that. So
Awesome.
yeah.
In the school systems, we've been talking a lot about STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Mhm.
How are STEM and computer science skills used in your workplace?
Well, I have seen, I'm on the younger end of realtors. There was a poll in, I think it was 2015, and 3% of realtors are under 30.
Oh,
And yeah, so it's usually not a field that most young people are looking to get into, but I've seen that the younger somebody is when they enter the field, the faster they succeed because everything is computerized now. Way back in the day, there wasn't an MLS online. We had literally printed off books of all the listings, and every week new listings would come out on Monday, and everybody would look at the book and they would see if they had any matches for buyers for the listings that came out. And there wasn't an MLS search program. So that's obviously all gone away. And we're all online now. And I mean, just while I've been in it, I've seen the emergence of social media and how it changes people's businesses. So I've seen, yeah, the emergence of social media, switching to all online MLS, which is the multiple listing service, and computerized electronic signatures. So when I started, we didn't have electronic signatures. We hardly had like PDF scanning devices. So we used fax machines
Yeah.
and signed in ink. And it's been really interesting to watch brokers who were had kind of been around for a while, couldn't adapt very well. So the more adaptable you are and well versed in computers and just technology is really to your benefit right now more than ever. So
That's awesome. Yes. So for the students that are wondering like what kind of classes you could take at the high school that benefited you, because you said at the beginning you took some CTE classes. Can
yeah.
you elaborate on exactly what you took?
Yeah, so I was a DECA nerd. I took 4 years of marketing at Capitol High. And I ran our student store junior and senior year. And um, I'm really glad I went to college and got a bachelor's degree and an undergrad. I'll always have it. Nobody can take it away from me. I'm so glad I did it, especially since I was over halfway done when I decided I wanted to be a realtor. But the things that I use every day to grow and operate my business are things that I learned in my marketing classes in high school.
Mm.
So it's everything from creating a marketing plan for each individual property to how I run my books to just really how you can conduct yourself in a professional manner. I mean, when I was getting licensed, my resume looked better. I didn't have as much experience by any means. I had way less experience, but my resume looked better when I was 22 than people, because I was licensed at 22. My resume looked better when I was 22 than brokers who had been in the industry for 20 years who maybe didn't even have a resume. But something that I kind of fought when I was younger in the industry was how to present myself in an older manner because I was 22.
Right.
And a lot of the things that I learned and developed when I was in high school in my years of marketing really came in handy. And I did not expect that when I was 16 and taking marketing courses, but I'm
Yeah.
so glad that I did, because the things that I learned in college are not applicable to my business.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So young students, we do offer quite a bit of marketing classes. So just like Capitol High, we don't have a
Yeah.
DECA program, but we do have an FBLA program.
Yes,
Very
exactly.
similar.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So what do you love about your work? I mean, you've been there for a while now. So what's keeping you there?
Yeah. I love the flexibility of it. I love the work itself, and that I get to meet people from all different backgrounds and walks of life, and it's a really fun variety because every person is different. And my job has nothing to do with how it has something to do with houses, but it has everything to do with people. And what you see on TV with house hunters and whatnot is completely unrealistic. um, but I would say I enjoy the combination of meeting new people and the challenges that it provides, because it can be really challenging some days. And some problems are bigger than others, like in any career. But I also love the flexibility in that I get to make my own schedule. Like if I was working a 9 to 5 job right now, I probably couldn't get on Zoom at 11 a.m. and
Right.
or I would have to, spend, if I had a scheduled lunch break, I would have to spend my lunch break, that's where I would fit other things in. But the thing I'd say about this job is you get to work when you want to and when you don't want to. So I say my typical work day is about 9 to 9. But I might be able to get a workout in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's a
Right.
luxury that a lot of people don't have. So I like owning my own time, the flexibility of the schedule, and then just the actual work itself, meeting people and working on a marketing plan and getting out there into the world. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What attracts people to your industry? Do you know?
Um, I think most people at the beginning, they think that they're going to make a lot of money,
Sure.
which you can, but it takes a while. So It's definitely not a career path for people that are expecting immediate gratification. And I'm not quite sure there's any career path for people that are expecting immediate gratification. But I mean, just to be completely transparent, my first year in business, I made $33,000. But my next year in business, I made $68,000. So there's a lot of mobility that this business provides, but it's not immediate. So
Right.
yeah.
So yeah, real estate doesn't offer a set income every month. You
No,
have
it's
to work.
completely, there are some months that I won't be paid at all. Sometimes I don't get paid for 3 or 4 months. And then there are some months where I make $30,000. So it's very unpredictable. I say both my income and my schedule are two very unpredictable things in my life. So
Right.
if somebody calls you to go see a house, especially in this market, you have to go then.
Mhm.
And it requires really great money management because you don't know how much money you'll be making. Um, I'm not married, so our household, my household doesn't have a second income to work off of.
Right.
But this is all I've ever done, so I've never had a what I call a real job with you know, predictable set income and
Right.
benefits and paid time off. So it's as freeing as you would want it to be, but it's also as unpredictable you would want it to be. So yeah, nothing, no income is guaranteed, that's for sure. And it usually takes about 6 months to get your first deal closed. So the beginning's the hardest part.
Okay. That's good to know. So what do you wish someone would have told you before you started? Well, I know that you said you went and, sat down in that luncheon with your boss
Yeah.
or a friend.
Yeah, a broker that I worked for in
Yeah.
college. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what do I wish somebody? That's a great question. Um, probably that I would spend a lot of money on marketing at the beginning that I didn't need to spend.
Oh,
So I remember when I first got my license and started to go out on my own and build my business, I was advertising on any form of like student programs for football games, and I had coasters with my face on them at restaurants, and I never got any business off of that, and I spent thousands of dollars doing that.
aw.
The best and the biggest business I've gotten is just being in front of people and being a regular person, having normal live conversations, and just networking. I would say the biggest thing is networking. So
Um, so what I'm understanding is that people skills is a definite. Did you take like a college class to help you with the people skills that I mean, I know you said your degree was not even about this, but was there like people skill training that you had? Because maybe somebody's like really shy, but is really interested in this. What could they do?
right. Well, I got a journalism degree in college. So I would say that helped me in that in journalism, they want you to take any class you want to because they want you to be able to write about all different fields.
Hmm.
But so in that regard, I think I was able to learn to talk to all sorts of different people.
Okay.
But I think it's just kind of you either have an entrepreneurial spirit or you don't. And
Okay.
it's really, I mean, when you're building your business at the beginning, it's like, when you wake up in the morning, what are you going to do today that's going to be better for your business tomorrow? And usually that involves being in front of people and being confident in front of them. Because if you're not, they probably aren't going to trust you with their largest investment of their life.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's good. Great advice. What opportunities do you offer to employees to grow and learn within the industry? But so that's like a common question. Do you have employees?
I don't have any full-time employees. I occasionally in the summer when I'm really busy, although last month was a really busy month. Occasionally in the summer when I'm really busy, I'm actually mentoring a student, right? Well, a student. He's a freshman in college. and he took marketing at Olympia High School in his senior year. And he's also a family friend. I've known him for a very long. Well, I've known him since he was born, which is a little surreal to be mentoring him. But I'm
Right.
mentoring him right now, and he's taking his classes online while he's in college. And I plan to have him work for me part-time in the summer. Um, in theory, real estate is seasonal, but I would say in the last 5 years, just been all year round. So I would say the main thing, if I was to hire a full-time employee right now, the main thing I would be concerned about is professionalism and how they present themselves, because I can teach them everything else. But if if they're interacting with my clients, they're another face of my business. So I need them to present themselves in a way that I approve of, in a way that I would present myself as well. So I would say first impressions are everything, and then everything else is teachable.
That's great advice. What made you, no, wait, we already talked about that. What did you prepare? What did you do to prepare, or what would you recommend someone to do now to prepare if they want to become let's just say like a freshman's watching this? What would you
Um, that's a good question.
besides all the marketing classes for the CTE, right?
Yeah. Big CTE plug, obviously.
That's
Firm
all.
believer. What would I would just say, be really mindful of who you surround yourself with. And that can go from if you're going to be working in a cancer research lab by yourself, or if you're going to be building a business based upon, your public image. Um, just be really mindful of who you surround yourself with, because most of the people that I surrounded myself with growing up in elementary, middle school, high school, college are now all of my clients. So you work with people in this business a lot. There are online leads and things that people, brokers work with people that they don't know, but I mostly work with people that I do know. And so they're my friends, they're my friends' families. There's always a story of how you get to one client. I showed a house yesterday, and I used to babysit her kids when I was 16 years old. So, or it'll be my mom's friend's sister, or there's always some trail that leads back to you. So I would just be really aware of the people that you surround yourself with, and to never burn a bridge.
Never burn a bridge, because that could generate some money for you one day.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. That would probably lead to how you need to behave on your social media accounts as well.
Yes. So I'm very aware of that. There are brokers who aren't. Um, for my business practice, I make a point to, if you go to my social media page, I don't want you to know any, like, any political affiliation of me at all. So I try to remain completely neutral on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm not cool enough to have a TikTok, but um, anything like that. So you want to appeal to everybody, and the more people you appeal to, the broader your client base will be. So if you sway one way or the other, then unfortunately, in the times that we're living in, that can eliminate a lot of clientele. So when I'm on social media, I'm not an oversharer. I usually just post funny, weird things that happen to me in my job,
Right.
which seems to happen all the time. But and just major events in my life. And other than that, I'm just really aware of, even what music is in the background behind me, and
Right.
things of that sort. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let me see if there's any other questions. Kathy, are there any other questions?
I'm not sure. Let me look. So, what, your work environment?
yeah.
So do you probably spend a lot of time in your car?
I do.
but you do have a home office.
I do.
And so how does all that work for you? I mean, how do you make that work?
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, to be completely transparent. It's very on the go. So sometimes I'll have sometimes I'll be in 3 counties in one day, and other times I'll be stuck at my desk all day. So stuck at my desk. I like the variety of being out and about and being at a desk. So that's why I say it's stuck at my desk. So yeah, so sometimes I'll have a long work session in the office and I'll have 8 hours of computer work to do. And other times, I mean, on the days that I have back-to-back appointments, they might get over 8 p.m. Well, I haven't been in front of my desk for the 6 hours before that. So then I have 2 hours of emails to catch up on. So yeah, a lot of time is spent in my car. I can deduct my miles the way that I do my taxes as a business expense. But yeah, I drive a lot. And I have kind of a general, I'm licensed statewide. So when you get your license in Washington, you can sell a house in any part of Washington state. But I mostly work Thurston, Lewis, Pierce, a little bit of King County, and some Mason County. So
Great. Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're about at the end of our time.
Okay.
And I appreciate you getting on here, Allie, with us and,
Sure,
and
yeah.
sharing your career. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
It's,
Thank you,
every day is different.
Yes, every day is different. Yes, yes.
That's awesome.
I
Thank
bet.
you so much, Allie, for joining us and sharing your insight. It was
Yeah.
very helpful. I enjoyed our conversation today.
Yeah, you bet. Likewise.